businesses, supported communities, raised children, and showed up everywhere she was needed until burnout turned into autoimmune disease. And no amount of color-coded scheduling could outwork her nervous system. Her healing journey reshaped everything she thought about what she knew about productivity, ambition, strength, and self-sacrifice. Wow. Take it away. Let's have a hand for him.
So this is not the first time I've ever spoken. I have been a speaker, been a speaker since about 2010. This is, however, the first time I have ever, and hopefully will ever, use notes. Because unfortunately, the autoimmune syndrome that I have has, by the way, I might swear a few times. I'm really sorry, it's still gonna happen. The autoimmune disease that I have has completely fucked my memory. I have an eidetic memory, and I did not realize until I lost it that I kind of relied on it like it was my eyes, and now I don't have a picture in my head of this speech. And I have to be a speaker with notes. And I've never done that in my life. So this is kind of terrifying for me, by the way.
You're all good.
You got it. You got it.
All that being said, I'm probably the most excited person to be speaking here today. I couldn't have done this 7 months ago. I really couldn't have done it a year ago. And to start with the end, to start why I'm the person that can talk to you about becoming unshakable. It's really funny because I do have these notes, so it doesn't matter that I don't have my slides. But my slides are really awesome, you guys. Like, they're actually really cool, and they're all like designed and stuff, so I hope I can bring them up. Anyway, in mid-November 2025, sorry, mid-November 2024, I had been sick for quite a while, for the third time. Third time I had the same kind of symptoms. I was exhausted, I was losing weight. My hair started falling out. I was sleeping, sometimes 20 hours a day. I could get through days and stuff, and again, remember, 6 kids, 3 businesses. And during a chunk of that, it was my own 3 kids, 3 businesses, no support, financial or otherwise. So you don't have a choice about whether you're going to get up and go to work, because otherwise you don't have a house or food. So I just kept going, and I kept going, and I kept going, and eventually in November of 2024, I finally found a doctor who could tell me what was going on. And when he told me what was going on, he came around his desk and he kind of like put his hand behind the chair, and I was like, oh, that's not good. When a doctor wants to come closer to you, you know you're about to hear something not awesome. And he said, you're probably, if you keep going the way you're going right now, you will have 3 years. And I was 44 years old. And he said, it's okay, you can go on these corticosteroids. You can go really, really heavy dose of corticosteroids for the rest of your life, which will be 20 years, and in that time, you will have all of your joints replaced because it's going to destroy your body. And I was like, okay, not that, what else? So my internal specialist called my endocrinologist. I am Canadian, by the way. Thank God. I would have just given up, honestly. So they all got together and they talked. And they gave me this system where basically I can put it off as long as, you know, I'm going along. I had to follow a diet. I had to change my entire life. I had to get rid of all of the toxic people. I had to stop going to my mother's for Sunday supper. And I had to try to start resting. So I did, mostly. I tried a lot. And every time I kind of felt better, I did what I did the first 2 times I burned out. 2019, got better a little bit, back to work, hustled harder. 2021, not really not feeling good this time, rested for longer, went to a naturopath, started feeling better, started offering executive coaching, and joined a partnership in a consulting firm, plus my business, plus my children, plus everything. So, that was where where my life was. I tried to get a whole bunch of more things on there. That's the to-do list. You know that person, so you know that day in the office, even if you love your job, you can love your job and still hate this part. That day in the office where you realize it's, 11 o'clock in the morning, and you have helped 2 teams fix their stuff, and you have connected the printer again, and you run down here and that person feels good, but you also had to text your kid to make sure that they had their uniform and that they still had the drive to get to the game at the end of the day. And then you had to start training a team member because somebody called in sick and now that's on you. And you look at the clock and you're like, oh, I haven't even started my own work yet. I'm not going to get home until 10 o'clock tonight. Again. And then the guilt sets in. And the why can't I be like other people sets in. How come everybody else seems to be able to do all their stuff and I can't? Why is this happening to me? When you have been trained all your life to be exactly, I was like, oh my gosh, you're doing my entire thing without slides. It was amazing. Like, yes, exactly like that. I ran the house. I took care of the people. I took care of everybody. I had 3 children with a husband that I was well aware was not going to be a support person, but that was okay. All of it was okay until it wasn't. So all of these things that you are doing, it was really hard for me to realize I'd done all of it to myself. Like by the time I got there and I looked back, I was like, oh, like nobody actually made me do this. But I did because I didn't know another way to live. My only value was in my productivity. The only thing about me that mattered was what I could do for someone else. So if I stopped doing things for other people, what am I? So then in 2012, everything fell apart that very first time. My husband and I split up in April. My parents stopped speaking to me until my father was diagnosed with a glioblastoma in July. He lived for 7 weeks, and at that point, so I had 3 kids, 7, 5, and 2. I was working in private education at the time, and my father died in September. So I went to my bosses in private education and said, I think I need like a couple weeks off. I need to go home and cry. I had 3 days of bereavement leave, and I said, I think I might need a week, so they fired me. Yep. Yeah. So I was like, I've never not worked. I don't know what to do on Monday. What do I do? So we're going to skip what that weekend looked like. On Monday, I went in and incorporated a digital marketing company in 2012 when people were poking each other and playing Farmville on Facebook. And really, you didn't need a website. I'm going out there and trying to convince people that the internet is the new thing, and I'm doing this in Atlantic Canada. But it worked. I worked every hour of the day. I did absolutely everything. I coached my kids' soccer teams. I volunteered. I went out to do all of the things all of the time. And I impressed the hell out of people. And they were like, oh my goodness, look at all these things you're doing. And I was like, oh God. The level just went up. I got to go home and learn how to be that. So I would go home and I would learn and I would read and I would do and I would just keep going and going and going and going. And that's when around 2019, 7 years into my business, I started to not feel great. And then it just started being a faster and faster and faster slippery slope. And that slope got really, really, really slippery until November of 2025, when I went back to the same doctor that 1 year ago had told me I had 3 years to live. I knew it wasn't good. So I didn't go for my blood tests in August or September or October. And I did in November. And this time he came around and he put his arm around me. And he said, well, I think you know things have kind of changed. You're really, really struggling now. At this point, I could sleep for 72 hours and you could not wake me. I had developed such strong physical issues that, oh, come on. So this is the safety net is the post, divorce, everything I can make it. And being that girl, that impressive girl that everybody is so proud of all the time, which just makes you need to be more of that girl all the time. And these were the things that were starting to eat away at me, but I didn't realize it. Resentment and fear and all of the things had been building up so much But because they are normal and everybody else feels them too, you just keep going. You don't see what's wrong. Until then, that was a picture that my daughter took of me. And she was kind of being a bitch about it because I was supposed to be doing something with her that day. And she shouldn't have to understand. And she didn't. And she sent me that picture and said, this is what you did instead of taking me to the dance. And I didn't wake up for another day and a half at that point. So they are feeding themselves. Everybody in my life is managing themselves when I managed every minute of their life. Like I was a full court press parent. And now they're all on their own. It's that fast that it can happen, and believe me, it can happen to anybody. So once that happened, I went into the doctor, and he said, it's no longer 3 years, it's day to day. There is too much potassium around your heart, and there's not enough sodium in your brain, and you may die from either one, and we don't know. Can't put you in the hospital because you might know it. So I said, okay, I will take those meds that you told me I could take. And he's like, we cannot give you those now. You're not stable enough. And I said, okay, what do we do? And he looked at me and said, I don't know. Thankfully, I'm really lucky with doctors. And my endocrinologist is fantastic. He actually called a doctor that he'd seen at a consortium of these types of doctors. He'd seen him 10 years before. He emailed him in India. He sent him my blood work and said, hey, what does she have? What's wrong? Why is it not just Addison's? And he said, this is the syndrome that she has. This is how to make her better. And then he found me an acupuncturist who was also a medical doctor, and they started working together. Everything started coming together, but I had to live through November of 2025 and December of 2025 and January of 2025 and halfway through February of 2025 with 2026 with I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to live tomorrow. I'm 45. I don't understand how this could happen. And instead of being like, oh my God, I'm sick, I should take care of myself, no! You completely suck. How could you do this? Why aren't you good enough? Why aren't you like everybody else who can manage this? Everybody can manage this. And then I realized, wait a minute, no, most people aren't managing what I'm managing. I hadn't noticed that part yet. I hadn't actually paid attention to what I was carrying. So as I am bedridden for 2024 and 2025, I started doing research because I can't get out of bed and I couldn't read, so I started doing audiobooks. If I couldn't read, and I read about 75 books on burnout, and I think I watched them like 300 videos with closed captions again because sometimes I just couldn't process it, and I learned almost everything. I also have a neuropsychology degree, but they didn't teach us this shit. They did not. I didn't know anything about it from what I learned in school. And out of it, what I figured out was actually none of this it's not a physical thing. We all kind of know that. We all say we know that, although they still say that the syndrome I have is not caused by stress. We have not proven that it has been caused by stress. It happens to stressed out women, and it happens mostly to middle-aged women. My doctor was very proud, happy to say it happens to middle-aged women, and I was like, oh. But I was going to research it because I was going to fix it. I am not doing this. This is not how this is going to end. That's ridiculous. This is completely stupid. So I decided to figure it out, and I did. There's 3 steps. There's 3 steps to not ending up the way I ended up, the way I still ended up. Like going to Chicago, man, from New Brunswick, long talk with my doctor. Should I do this? What if I pass out? What if this happens? What if this happens? But my entire motto, my entire life, I think, has been, fuck it, I'm doing it anyway. That's all I ever have. I'm never ready. I'm always scared. I'm always positive it's gonna suck. And every time I'm like, whatever, I guess I'm doing this. I don't know. That led me here. So the first little step, the little tiny ones, figure out what you're carrying. What are you actually carrying? Like not like your to-do list, but go through your to-do list and then go through your emotional to-do list and then go through your background to-do list and then go through the to-do list that has to interact with other human beings and then add in driving. and add in children, and add in things that come out of the blue that you never expected. Because that's what life is. And it can come at you really, really fast, and it does not care that you're stressed out at all. But most of that stuff doesn't actually belong to you. And no one's actually going to die if you put it all down. I know that because I put everything down for about 18 months while I was in bed. Nobody died. But after you figure out what it is you're carrying, then you figure out what's yours. Because this is not a get out of jail free card. This is not a, okay, I'm just going to lay around and do nothing. You are still here for a purpose. So figure out which things are yours. And figure out how to do them, and only them, exceptionally well. Put them in your calendar first. You don't add the meetings until you've added fun time and gym time and time with my kids and time reading and time doing valuable work. That whole not urgent but important part of the Eisenhower box. Put that in your calendar first, then let other people take up your meetings. Don't let them lead. So you figure out what is yours, and you figure out a plan to really, really do it. And then you become unavailable for those people that you have trained. This is your responsibility. You've got to untrain them that you are going to do everything in your life that you've always done. It's really hard. You have to become unavailable for really, really, should be life and death. Yes, I know how to handle this. Yes, I could do this tomorrow, but no, I'm not going to. And then you have to sit on your hands. And it's less fun than you think. But if you repeat and repeat and repeat, your failure to plan is not my emergency. Your stuff is not necessarily mine. If I have time and capacity, I'll help you, otherwise no. No. No is a complete sentence. No does not need a persuasive paragraph or a PowerPoint or anything to go along with it. And when you actually live by that, it's really funny. Because somebody asks you to do something and you say no. The silence is uncomfortable after about 4 seconds, and it'll go on for about 10. Before somebody else raises their hand and goes, well, I guess I will. Man, yeah, no is a complete sentence. Because every time you say, no, but I did, you're telling that to your own body too. I know I should. No, you shouldn't. No. I have best friends who do that no, and I'm like, how do you do that? So I started following them around and seeing how they did it, and that's how I learned how to do it. It's pretty amazing when you let the uncomfortable happen. Because other people will actually step up, and you have now helped them expand their lives too. You need to connect with people who make you feel like your favorite self. I was connecting with people who made me feel like my best self, and guess what? You cannot be your best self every single freaking day. That's how you get sick. But I can be my favorite self every day. I can wear ridiculous jewelry, and I can walk around doing whatever I want all the time, and actually nobody can stop me. It's really neat. It's kind of like when you realize you can buy chocolate cake on a Tuesday when you're a grown-up and go home and eat it all. Wow, who knew? It's not even a birthday. That kind of freedom, but with everything. Your favorite people aren't going to care about the days you crash and burn. They're going to go, okay, here's a blanket. Do you want snacks? And that's it. That's because you're going to do the same thing for them. They will pick you up when you don't always have to pick them up. It becomes both residual thing. And if, like me, you don't have those people, because I guess I'm going the wrong way. I really, really went the wrong way. I'm going to bring it up over here. Way over at come on, you can do it. Way over at this slide, I started disappointing people. A lot. I lost my partnership in the agency. I lost most of my friends. I lost a couple of my marketing clients. I lost everybody who was used to me serving them. All of them. And it was really hard. And somehow that made space for the most amazing humans in my entire life to just show up and take over. if I had not gotten this sick, if all of this stuff hadn't happened, if my life was still going the way I thought it was supposed to be going, I would be healthy and basically the human version of the color beige or like oatmeal. Like I would not be doing what I'm supposed to do. Really wish it didn't take me that many lessons to learn this stuff, but apparently that's how I'm made as well. So when you get to the point that you've said no, and you get to the point where you have figured out what you need, and you get to the point where you're telling everybody else no, you are going to start rebuilding your life from scratch. The reason this is called unshakable is you're just your favorite self. You are who you are, and your capacity is your capacity every single day. So this, very last, that was shortcuts are awesome. Shortcuts really, really are awesome. We are living in a world where we're supposed to be something. And I wrote a book about dismantling that system.
All right.
And that's it.